Welcome back to the Full Forest Fathers podcast, Dave. It is episode 100. This is 100, which is freaking crazy to think about. When we started this, we'd be at 100 episodes. I mean, I think we got this down now. We still suck, but we got it down now. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. We're definitely doing it. We are the model of consistency here. We're a century. We've been doing this a century, it seems like. It's crazy to think we've hit episode 100. I'm excited about it. All good things ahead.
Okay. I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
In our 100 episodes, what is the what was your favorite place that we recorded an episode? Was it like your Arizona house? Was it Pensacola? Was it the camper? Where was your favorite place an episode has ever been done?
Oh, man. I'm going to say Arizona. That was my favorite. It's because that's where we envisioned this whole thing coming together. And that was the only episode that we were actually able to do together from Arizona. So that's why that's my favorite.
Dude, that was a long time ago. That was early episode too, by the way. Really early. We sat in your freaking living room in Arizona. I want to say Pensacola, but the problem with Pensacola is the weather was so shitty when we were there that like it kind of ruined the vibe, because like it would have been like cool to drink, be on the beach and do a podcast on the beach in Pensacola, but it was like fucking dead middle of winter cold there when we did it. So I don't want to say Pensacola. I think the day that I did one in the camper, Carp was sitting next to me. I was in South Carolina in the camper. I thought that was a pretty cool episode because it was our only time we've ever had someone else sit in as a guest on the show, and I was in the camper too.
Yeah, that was a fun one too.
Yeah. And then another thing, I'm super, super excited to tell you this story because I am a master and I take so much pride and I have so much fun when I can scare my wife. Do you ever scare your wife, like hide behind a door or sneak up behind her and she has no idea? You ever do that?
Yeah. Of course. Absolutely. She doesn't like it very much. The kids and I do it more to each other, but yeah.
So today, right before we hit record on this episode, we're all in the kitchen. The kids are home today. We're recording on a Friday. It's rodeo break. As you know, we do rodeos out here. So the rodeo break, we didn't have President's Day off, but they had yesterday and today off. So anyways, we're all in the kitchen just now and we're finishing up making breakfast. And I go down the hallway to change really fast to get on my disgusting workout clothes to get on the podcast. And I hear Andine creeping down the hallway. So I quick. I get behind the bedroom door and I'm like, she's coming. And this is my moment to shine. And she's got a bowl of hot oatmeal in her hands. And she's coming down the freaking hallway. And I just sneak behind the door. Dude, she opens up the door. I love when they get just past you, just a little bit, they get past you. And I'm like, boom. And she goes, ah! And she fucking screams at that. I thought the oatmeal was going all over the place. Somehow she hung on to the oatmeal. And then she proceeded to punch me and kick me. And she goes, do you want to make me pee my pants? And I'm like, dude, that is what I live for, making my wife scared. It was so good. I had to share it on the show because I literally was 7 minutes ago. I scared the absolute shit out of her, and it was hilarious.
That's funny.
So, other than that,
Dean.
What do we got on episode 100 today?
Man, I'll tell you what. I thought when we hit 99, our numbers were over. But, au contraire, my friend, I have found a couple number 100s. So, did you know, a little old school ESPN here, did you know that there have been 2 college football players that have worn the number 100 in a game?
I had no idea.
Yeah. They were both place kickers. And they were only allowed to wear it because of centennial celebration. So the first one was in 1963, and it was Chuck Kinder. Kinder? I don't know. We'll go with Kinder. He was with West Virginia, and it was honoring their 100th anniversary. And then the second was at Kansas, and his name was Bill Bell. And that was in 1969 to commemorate 100 years since the first organized college football contest. So there you have it. 2 players from college football that got to wear the number 100 in a game. And I wanted to keep the college football trend going. So I was like, how many college football games have there been 100 points or more scored by a team? There was a lot more than I thought. I don't have the exact number because I stopped counting. But what I did uncover was another digit, or I guess we'll just pose it as a question. Who do you think, which team has scored more than 100 points the most times in NCAA football history?
I feel like this is a loaded question. Like I'm supposed to say a big name school that's won the most games or something, or a team that's been around forever, but I don't want to say that. My initial gut reaction was Notre Dame, just because of the history of the team of Notre Dame.
Mm.
But if I was going to say what team has scored 100 points the most, I'm going to say Oklahoma.
Actually got it. There is no chance. Did you just look that up?
Swear to God, no chance. I literally
just looked it up.
I just guessed. I did not look it up. Swear. I swear on this right here. This is the good book.
Wow. Oklahoma has scored 108 times.
That's insane, dude. 100 points in a game?
Yeah, 8 times. And you know who number 2 is on the list?
Oh, God, dude. Can I get 2 in a row right? Let me think. Ding, 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 ding. Texas.
No. Georgia Tech.
Ooh, the South.
5 times. I'll tell you what, man. In the mid 1910s, there was a lot of 100-point games scored. Like, you got to go check it out sometime. It's outrageous. The amount of 100-point games between like 1911 and like 1917, 18, it's absurd. But Oklahoma, yeah, they had 8 of them. Kudos for them. But dude, kudos to you. I cannot believe you got that right. That's awesome. All right, let's keep the 100 trivia going. I know you're going to know this one. This is a piece of cake. Who's the only NBA player to score 100 points in a game?
Oh, Wilt Chamberlain.
There you go. Nailed it. Still, that iconic picture of him holding the 100, one of the probably the most iconic pictures in sports, I would say. And I got one more for you, too. There have been NASCAR drivers that have driven the number 100 car. It's been raced 56 times. Do you know how many wins it's had?
0.
Nailed it. 0. Man, you did good on my test today. Good work. Those are my number 100 fun facts for today. I don't know what we're going to do next week on episode 101, but I thought it would be cool to still mix in since there have been some number 100 related things that have happened.
Yeah, I'm thinking of 100. There's a couple questions that come up. 2 things about the 100. You answered the first one without even me having to ask it. When the hell were the 100-point games? But obviously it sounded like it was like in the 1910s because I'm like, dude, I don't remember. Was there any 100-point games in football history like recently, or were they all a long time ago?
They were all quite a long time ago. There was one that was relatively recent, but it was 2 completely no-name teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the second one I was thinking was, I know another person that we know, great UConn player, Maya Moore, scored 100 points in a high school basketball game one time. So there's another person that we know of that scored 100 points in a game.
Oh, boom. That's pretty good.
Yeah, she was an all-time great.
I think I did know that, but I definitely forgot it.
Yeah, she, it's the class pretty of good. All the UConn greats that Geno's had. She was one of them. You know what I mean? She had that great run. She actually lost a couple times too, which is rare in Geno's great historical runs, but she did lose a couple games.
I found that 100 point, the most recent 100 point scored in a game contest. It was back in 2003, and it was Rockford against Trinity Bible. There you go. The more you know.
Can that be the worst segue in history to our Bible verse?
I was hoping you were going to go there. Do it.
Proverbs 22:6. You've heard this one on the show before, but as you know, as Full Force Fathers kids, man, that's what it's all about, is raising our kids right. So 22:6, Proverbs 22:6. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. And it's obviously a classic Bible line. You picked it today. I read it. But yeah, 22:6 Proverbs. Go pick up the good book.
I wanted to put this one in here. I know we've done it before,
mm-hmm.
but I think for our 100th episode, I don't think there's a better one in the Bible for us as full force fathers. Teaching our children the right way to do things so that they can live a life that they can be proud of, where they're doing the right things. And it kind of tied into also what we wanted to talk about today, which is routine and how important routine can be. And your kids seeing your routine and the things that you do in your life are going to make all the difference in their lives as they grow up and they start to develop routines themselves, and whether that be in school or as they get older in life and work and things like that. We set the example for them that they follow. And hopefully we're setting a good example for them, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is make this world a better place through ourselves and through our kids.
Yeah, and the word father, we are full force fathers, but father is the big word. Like if you were writing full force fathers on a piece of paper and you really had to like punctuate, the fathers would be all capitals. And parenting is the number one job. It's the greatest job in the world. It's the hardest job in the world. And it's funny because I'm reading a book. It's not a book recommendation because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm reading a book right now called Hunt, Gather, Parent right now. And I advise you to read it. It's pretty good. And what it does is it kind of takes a look at parenting and how ancient cultures, Mayan cultures, Inuit cultures, different parts of the world because Western culture is stupid. Like we're so dumb in America compared to other great cultures around the world and how they raise their kids. And and listen, I recommend everybody read books from people that they probably wouldn't read books from, because it really expands your knowledge. It makes you smarter and you see things from a different point of view. Because if you always just read like-minded shit, like this is a book that I would never read 5 years ago because this is a lady with a PhD and it doesn't align with my values, so I can't do it. Blah, conservative, Democrat, all the bullshit, this division. But thinking outside the box, reading this book, there's actually been some really good information that I've read on it. Like I said, I haven't read it all, but the first two, I'm in chapter 4 right now. Pretty fucking good stuff. And it talks about how parenting, how dumb we are in America, and how different parenting is in other parts of the world, and how ancient it is. And because the Western culture is so young, it's still so new compared to the world that, like, I don't know about you, but there's days where it's like, man, it's so hard to get your kids to brush their teeth or get dressed in the morning or go to school or go to sleep, or they fight and they don't share. And like this takes you back like to these ancient cultures where kids voluntarily help their parents and kids voluntarily share with their other siblings. And we need a lot of that in this country. We are so and a lot of it talks about technology, how technologically driven we are as a nation. And, kids having smartphones and staring at screens all day long. And it's really like that Bible verse ties into this book in the sense of, hey, listen, man, our kids are watching us. Our kids watch the chores that we do. They watch the way we work. They watch the way we eat. They watch the way we treat each other, and how isolated we are as a country in the sense of our kids are so isolated, and a lot of single mom households and dads aren't in the picture. Like that's the whole point of Full Force Fathers, is to raise good kids and, kids that contribute to society, I should say. You know what I mean? So it's just a good tie-in to that Bible verse to the book that I'm currently reading right now. Hunt, Gather, Parent by Dr. Michaeline Doucleff.
Nice. Great. Thanks for the plug there on the book. That's something good that I think people have to check out. So what do you want to go with first today? We haven't done 75 hard update in a long time, or do we want to jump right into routine?
Let's talk 75 hard first.
All right. So today, as you're listening to this, is day 52 for me. And what are you, 2 days behind?
No, you started almost a week ahead of me. I'm day 46.
Okay. Well, day 52. Here we are. Closing in on the home stretch, which is kind of hard to believe, but we're in the moment right now. We've talked about this on the phone, kind of chatting. Like this right now is the struggle. Day 40 to 60 really feels, we've done this a few times, day 40 to 60 always feels like probably the worst part. You're well past the point of excitement. Like when you start, you've got those first few weeks where you're like, this is great. Like I'm feeling good. I'm really starting to see changes, feel changes. The progress has been great. So the enthusiasm of seeing like that regular progress change starts to come down a little bit. You're also at the point where your body's starting to hurt. 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes a piece. You're doing the workouts the right way. Your body's really starting to kind of feel some of that, just that pain. And I would say more than pain, just tiredness from not getting rest. And it's starting to get to that point where it's a little harder to motivate yourself to to do some of the things, those workouts that you know you need to do. I don't know about you. This is kind of the point in time where I'm starting to miss some foods, some drinks, things like that. And you're not quite close enough to see the finish line, and that's why this is the point in the program where mental toughness really has to kick in. And this is where I think the people that finish it, the people that succeed with it, this is the point. This is the turning point for them in their head when you can push through this period of time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is the most monotonous time of 75 hard. Now, the first time you do it, it's different because it's all new. It's even harder now when you've done it half a dozen times, because you're like, man, I've already done this. Like, blah blah blah. For me, at this time, it's not the workout thing. For me, it's the diet. Like, I start to get really bored because I'm very, very old fashioned. I'm very, very much a creature of habit. So I get very bored because I eat the same food every day. Like, I'm just be honest. Like, at least during Lent, like, it switches it up. You throw fish in once a week because, you're not eating meat on Fridays. But like, other than that, man, that's my biggest issue, man. I get fucking bored. And your hardest days of 75 hard will be in this 20-day stretch because of the simple fact that you're past the new stage and you're not close enough to the exit of it or the end of it yet where you're like, oh, you got motivation to get it done. And here's a case study,
Yep.
a live case study that I'm going to go over. A friend of ours that we know, Tom, he's also doing 75 hard with us. I think he's 2 days ahead of me as well. He texted me on Monday. So this comes out on Tuesday. So last Monday he texted me, and we didn't talk about this on last week's show. He said, I feel like I've plateaued. I'm reading his text message. Is that normal? Do I need to ramp up my workouts or dial in my diet even more? And my exact response was, totally normal 40-something days in. I said, you can switch your workouts up. You can, tweak your diet a little bit, I said. But I said, days 40 through 60 are the most monotonous part of 75 hard. And he said, gotcha. I'll hold strong and press forward because this makes or breaks a lot of people, this part of the process for sure, like you had said. A lot of people break here because you're just like, shit, it's the same thing over and over again. And for me, let's just put it in this way. Last Thursday, we went to the rodeo. And that was my hardest day of 75 hard because we're going to talk about routines, but I am such a routine-based, routine-driven person that I do the same thing every day. Like I just mentioned, I eat the same food. I work out at the same time. I wake up at the same time. All those things happen. But last Thursday was like that test day. It was like day 45. And we went to the rodeo. So that was an all-day event. So I literally worked out in the morning before we left, and I was slugging water like it was nobody's business to get as much into me as I can, because at the rodeo, you can't bring water, and I'm way too cheap to buy a $4 bottle of water at the rodeo. So I talked to you last Thursday at 8 o'clock at night, because by the time we had gotten home, you're like, what are you doing? And it was 9 o'clock your time, 8 o'clock my time. I said, getting my second workout in. He's like, why? I'm like, we're at the rodeo. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot you're at the rodeo. I'm like, this is going to go down as the hardest day of 75 hard for me. Something could happen between here and the end, but at the hardest day for 75 hard in the sense that my workouts were so far apart. Instead of usually being at 6 or 7 in the morning and at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, they were 6 in the morning and 8 o'clock at night because of the rodeo in the middle. And I hadn't read my pages yet. So I literally had to do a workout and read before I got in the shower, and went to bed on a normal night. So that day, that's the perfect example of days between days 40 and 60 being the most monotonous, but probably the hardest to get through, because those are the days, like you said, we were talking the other day, you just want to have a freaking piece of dessert, or your kids are making cupcakes, or you want it's peanut butter egg time with Easter. You want to have a peanut butter egg, or you want to have a soda, or whatever the case may be. It is no doubt about it the most monotonous, hardest time. But that's why reading that book, 75 Hard, Andy breaks it down so well for you and breaks it down in segments. But yeah, no doubt about it. Live case study, because between you and I and Carp and Tom, that's 4 people that we know, that we talk to and communicate with on a daily basis, that are all doing it at the same time. And we all have the same trials. Now for Tom, it's different. He's never done this before. So it's all new to him. So yeah, he's like, yeah, man, I'm losing weight. The gym's great. The diet's great. No alcohol. You and I and Carp are like, meh, that's kind of like, meh, whatever. We're just getting through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I noted down here in the notes just like overall feelings I've had through 75 hard this time. This is the first time I've had a very strict routine to 75 hard, and that's been key to me. my body overall has felt significantly better, and I attribute that to one thing, and that is mixing up my workouts, not just doing all cardio, but really mixing in weights and being diligent with that in addition to doing the cardio. I have ranged every spectrum of weather you could possibly imagine here. I've had days as warm as the mid 70s, and I've had days as cold as -8. I've had snow, ice, rain, and sunshine, heavy wind or strong wind, driving rains. And I've actually come to enjoy those cold mornings and the days with rain, because I've proved to myself that I can get out there and do that stuff in those terrible conditions. And I actually welcome that shit when it comes, which has been interesting. And to me, the diet has actually been surprisingly easy to get through. I did say I'm missing some foods, and I am. I'm not gonna lie, I'm missing foods, but for the most part, like I've been able to enjoy the diet that I'm doing, and I've seen great results with it. And it's been great. Being so locked into something and being so plugged in has been refreshing for me. And it's definitely, this has been the best I've ever felt doing 75 hard this time through. And I think there's a few reasons for that. The routine's definitely one. And also my schedule just in general has slowed down from what it normally is. And that's made a big difference too.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. 75 hard is strange. It's strange every time that you do it. There's always something. Your weather is the one thing that really, that would screw me up big time. Because I did 75 hard in Virginia, and I remember always bitching because same thing. You get some snow, you get some rain, you get some sleet, you get some hot. You're in a t-shirt one day and shorts, you're freaking bundled up, fucking like some of the pictures you were sending me, dude. Ice on the road, you're wearing winter hat, winter gloves, 3 coats, and 2 fucking pairs of pants just to get through. And you know, but you're right. You learn. I like what you said. How you said you look forward to some of the shittier weather days now when you're doing it. Like that one time during 700, I think it was 20 days ago or something, where it was driving rain and hail, and I went out, and the 2 people on the road stopped to ask me if I wanted to ride, and I was like, believe it or not, I'm actually doing this on purpose. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. But those are the days that make it all worth it. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
It's every journey with 75 hard is different every single time. You know, I mean, there's never going to be a perfect one because you always have something that pops up. You're never going to have 75 straight days of the. I mean, you could. I guess you technically could had 75 days of the same thing over and over, but that is extremely hard and almost impossible to get 75 days of 75 hard if you're a dad, if you're a parent and you have kids and you're married. It's virtually impossible to get 75 days in a row where you can actually do the same thing. Just solely based on what's going on with school or what's going on with activities. Or we went to the rodeo on Thursday. The very first time I ever did 75 hard, the last 3 days of 75 hard, we had bought our camper, remember? And we were driving back from fucking Utah back to freaking Tucson. And I had to finish days 73, 74, and 75. And 75 hard, the first time I ever did it, the hardest one ever was the last day, day 75. I started at Zion National Park in the morning, and when I got home at midnight, Andine and I had to put our weight vest on because she did it with me and go around the fucking block at midnight on day 75 to accomplish 75 hard. So I'm not trying to turn anyone off from 75 hard. I really think it's the greatest program ever created in terms of mental toughness and physical toughness and getting your shit together and getting back on track. But man, there is never going to be an ideal time, no matter what time of the year you do it. Because if you do it in the winter, it's cold. There's holidays. If you do it in the summer, it's hot, it's miserable. You know, there's always something coming up on the calendar that's going to screw you up. And it's your ability to adapt, you know, and I know you want to talk about routines. It is imperative to get some sort of routine down where at least if of the 75 days, 50 of them are that same routine over and over again. 10 of them are really, really close. 5 of them are like, all right, fuck, I got to figure it out. And then there's like 8 wild card days in there that you're like, all right, just got to get through it. It's going to be a weird ass day. Like last night was the perfect example. I was like, all right, dude, I know I'm going to the rodeo. I'm going to get home at 8 o'clock. I'm going to just have to do a damn workout. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing I'll say on this, I think I told you that I had started a group here at work of doing 75 hard. Unfortunately, I'm the last one standing from
Mm-hmm.
that group. But what that's done is it's really opened my eyes to how hard 75 hard actually is. It's nearly impossible for people to consistently do anything over a period of 75 days, let alone the tasks that this program requires. And I'm incredibly proud of the fact that we are doing this and we have other fathers doing it with us. Um, we're making ourselves better again for our families, and I think that is the most important part. So it is very hard. It's called 75 hard for a reason, but glad we're doing it, and can't wait to see what the end of it looks like.
I got a quick question for you. Did they quit 75 hard because AT&T wanted to turn the switch off last week and everyone didn't have their phones for like 12 hours? Is that why they quit? Because they couldn't handle it?
I don't think that was the reason. It's pretty much people don't want to wake up in the morning and get into a routine. They don't have mental toughness for it. Fact of the matter. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, that's the old AT&T thing. I don't want to put on the old tinfoil hat, but I think that was a early indication of things to come the rest of this year. So
yeah. So if there's some reason you don't see an episode come out, there could be we just may not have internet, dude. So I know.
yeah, crazy.
Dude, tinfoil hat all the way. And we're not going down the tinfoil hat route today because it's just not in today's episode. But it is someone flicked the switch for AT&T. We don't know who did it, but someone did it, and then they turned it back on because you got phone service and internet back. But man, in a weird way, I kind of liked it.
Oh, dude, it was great. The only thing I hated was that you and I weren't able to talk. We were able to text, so that was fine. But dude, it was so refreshing to know that I wasn't getting any notifications or anything. Like I went out for my outdoor workout and like it was so freeing. It felt great.
Yeah.
It really is, for Lent, I've given up just about all the apps on my phone in hopes of transitioning soon to a light phone. And this was an indication to me, man, that I'm making the right choice. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I know. I know you are, and I love it in a sadistic way. I love it. I would love it if there was no internet and no technology. I would be like, because it's a known fact that technology has made things way harder and way worse. And it's stupid. And if there was no technology, like I know for Lent, I gave up my cell phone in the car. You know that. So whenever I'm driving, my cell phone's away. Unless someone calls me on Bluetooth that's paired to the truck, I don't know about it until I get to my destination. And then I gave up social media on Sundays. My wife and I both gave up social media on Sundays. But actually, it's funny. Let's talk about technology really quick. Now that I'm here and we're talking, I want to bring something up. I'm going to find this page in this book because I actually just read it not that long ago, and I want to read it if I can find it. It's one paragraph about technology. And this book's about parenting, but it does talk a little bit about advances in technology. We'll talk about this for 1 minute because I have it, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So in this book, it says, in his nonfiction mega hit *Sapiens*, Yuval Noah Harari argued that progress in humanity is an illusion, and in many ways, technology and science have actually made our lives harder, not easier. Take, for example, email. The technology has certainly made communication faster, but at what cost? Has email made our lives more relaxed? Sadly not, Yuval wrote. Now each day, hundreds of communications flood our inboxes and our minds from people who expect prompt replies. We thought we were saving time with new technologies. Instead, we revved up the treadmill of life to 10 times its former speed and made our days more anxious and agitated.
Yep. Dude, that is 100% spot on accurate.
Am I right, dude? That's insane.
Spot on accurate. Dude, 100%. No doubt about it. That is exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. People have access to you all the time, and they expect a response. You said it there. Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. I'm guilty of it too. I send something, and I'm like, why haven't I gotten a response yet?
Yeah. You're right, dude, because we live with our phones in our pockets, and everybody, you expect someone to text you back instantly or respond instantly. You know what I hate the most? I'm a lender.
Yeah.
The amount of people and other loan officers that post on their Instagram pages that say, cleared to close in 9 days, cleared to close in 11 days, 1 day approval, 2 day approval. Dude, I just had a closing that was a 45-day close of escrow, and it made the process 1,000 times better. I mean, 1,000,000 times better, because you didn't have to worry about
Yeah.
instant response, instant transaction, instant all these. I mean, yeah, listen, because that's the world we live in, right? Everybody wants everything done yesterday. So you can put an 11-day clear to close. And guess what? That for the technology nerd that's buying the house, man, they're all about that person. They don't give a shit about the relationship, the communication. They want the loan closed as fast as they can. But having a 45-day escrow is so relaxing. You slow is fast, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, right? That's the saying. And the fact that you could like take your time with your milestones, making sure you got the prequal right, making sure you got the initial documentation correct, making sure you submitted a nice, clean file to underwriting, because you didn't have to do it in 24 hours.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's what it was meant to be, right? Standard closes were 45 days, and we just started ramping this stuff up, ramping it up, because that's what people want to do. Everything got to move faster, 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 and makes everything significantly harder. Adds an incredible amount of stress to everybody involved in the process, not just you. It involved stress for the buyers, the sellers, the escrow agents, everybody involved down the line. So, yeah, that has a great page that you read in that book, because it is certainly true. And it was really interesting to have a day where I couldn't call anybody, couldn't get any calls. It was great, man. Felt awesome.
Yeah,
It felt really freeing, isn't it? It was like
it made me feel vindicated that I read Prepared by Mike Glover. It made me very vindicated by reading that book.
Yeah. Oh, for sure it did. For sure it did.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But anyway, so if anything, I know that one paragraph that I just read to you is going to make you want to buy this book and read it now.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about
that. Anyways, let's talk about routines. Go ahead.
All right, so routines. Wanted to talk about routines today. We said 75 Hard. It has made it significantly easier for me. I know in the past on 75 Hard, you've had a good routine that you've been in. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, about the importance of that, whether you're doing 75 Hard or not, but the importance of having a routine every day. The impact that makes on your mind, your body, how they respond in different ways when you have a routine, and the keys to really implementing one that you can stick with and that is going to work for you in your life, that sort of thing. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your routine, daily routine, and some of the things that are non-negotiable for you and how you landed there.
So this is it's funny that we're going to talk about routines, and this is the least most routine. That doesn't make any sense. This is the least routine driven 75 Hard I've ever done, just because of work and kids and everything, all the things that have come about of this 75 Hard. But I will say the most important thing about a routine is obviously for you to get your tasks done. But I think big picture is it kind of makes the house routine based, in the sense that the kids know dad's routine. So we know, like, maybe we should start to pick up on a routine. And obviously Andine, my wife, is already the most planned person I know. And, you know, she has a job where she works a lot and is very, very scheduled. And I think the word schedule makes a lot of sense. It schedules your days. My morning routine is one thing that does not change. That hasn't changed for, I can't even tell you how long. And I'm not a big sleep person. And there's all these scientific evidence out there that says if you don't get 8 hours of sleep, you're going to be less effective at this, and you're going to suck at that, and you're going to die early, and you're going to be a bad parent if you sleep less than 8 hours a day, and all their stuff. I'm not a big sleep person. I'm not a big calorie person. Those are two things that I really break the norm of the norm, right? The mold. You got to have a lot of sleep, and you got to count your calories and all that other nonsense. That's just nonsense to me. I eat and I sleep on feel. If I need a little more sleep, I sleep a little more. If I need to eat a little more, I eat a little more. I completely eat and sleep on as requirements of what my body tells me. But with that being said, none of that makes any sense without any routine. If I don't have a routine, then I've always flown by the seat of my pants. It's one thing where Andine is we're yin and yang. She's scheduled, planned, everything's in order. I am very much fly by the seat of my pants. I always have it that way. But I don't stray from my morning routine. My morning routine stays the same because what my morning routine does is it kickstarts the rest of my day in motion. Because as you know, in my job, I could have like a really, really heavy, busy day, or I could have a really, really slow, like boring ass day. It all just depends on what's going on with files, pre-quals. Phone's ringing a lot today. Phone's not ringing a lot today. But routine makes everything make sense because some people call it time blocking. Some people, whatever you want to call it, scheduling. I know that my first hour and a half of the day is blocked off from the time that I open my eyes to the time that I bring the girls to school and get home from that. It's the same thing every day. I wake up, I do my morning routine in the kitchen. I, wash my face, brush my teeth, apple cider vinegar, lemon, honey, elderberry. Like that's all the same. Start the pot of coffee, take the dog out, get the dog's run done, get back inside. The girls get up for school. They have their routine in terms of getting dressed, washing their faces, making their lunches because they make their lunch outside of Finley because she's only 6. Caroline and Madison both make their own lunches. They're in the kitchen at the same time. Then they both go get dressed. Madison and Caroline, they have their chicken chores in the day, and then we're off to school. Finley wakes up. Andine makes her lunch. She eats breakfast, gets dressed, brush teeth, out the door, school, come home. Andine and I work out together. If that gets even the little bit thrown off, it will throw me sideways for the day because that is literally the wheels in motion. When that goes different, then everything else about my day is different. But then I time block. After I get home from that first workout with my wife, Andine gets to work on her computer in her office, and I get in front of mine. I do my emails. I make my phone calls. I check in with my boss. I, make all my follow-up calls. Depending on what day of the week it is different emails, different texts, different phone calls to different people, referral partners, current clients, previous clients, potential clients. Break for lunch, which is my fast breaks around noon, 1 o'clock. I block off an hour there so I can eat slow and at a nice pace because I hate shoveling food down my throat as fast as I can. Then it's back to work. Girls from school, home, second workout. The girls know when they come from school, it is time to have a snack, or if it's lunch, if it's a half day, and then they know dad's got a second workout. After the second workout, it's dinner prep, dude. Andine works a lot longer than I do. Dinner is usually prepped by me or Andine if she does a little bit in between in some of her meetings. Dinner, dude, off to whatever after that, whether it's a school or church or something like that. And routine. My day, those are the most of my days. Outside of weekends. Weekends, there's no morning routine. I still have my morning routine in the weekends. The girls do not follow that routine on the weekends because they are allowed to sleep as late as they want unless we have something planned on the weekends.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it does trickle down to the rest of our family too. For me, this is the first time I've had such a dedicated routine, something that I've followed this well, and it's made all the difference for me every morning. So I have to be to work at 7 o'clock. And for me, that allows me to get out by 4, which is awesome because it gets me home right as the kids are getting off the bus. So in order to do that, one of the things when I went into 75 hard this time, I told myself I want to focus getting my workouts done when everybody else is asleep, at least one, and then the other one I can mix in. So every morning my alarm is set for 4:45. Now I'm at the point where I wake up before my alarm, and that's what I was kind of talking about, how your mind, your body, they respond to these things that we do in a great way. It's so much easier when I wake up before my alarm than my alarm buzzing off and then me having to get myself out of bed. When you can just kind of wake up on your own, it makes all the difference in the world. So I'm out of bed at the latest at 4:45. First thing I do is I hop on the scale. I check that. I take my picture of myself, and then that's good. I get in my workout clothes, and I go out and I get my first workout in, whether that's to the gym at 5 o'clock when it opens, or if it's hitting the road for some cardio, whatever it may be. First workout's done by 5:45 in the morning, and then it's home. It's, then it's off to work. It's shower. I've been doing protein shakes for the most part for breakfast with some frozen berries and things like that in it, which has been great. So I make my shake and off I go to work. Get to work. I have to take an hour lunch break at work. So I'll usually eat in the first 15 to 20 minutes. And then I bring my weight vest with me and I ruck for 45 minutes on my lunch break. Rain, shine, whatever it is, that's what I do. I ruck. I get my 45 minutes in at work. There are days where I have meetings and I just don't have the time to do it. those are the days that throw off the routine a little bit. And I've got to do those things later in the day, whether it's when I get home or later that night after dinner, things like that. But I'm able to get out at 4, get home when the kids get off the bus. It's 30 minutes of playtime outside with the kids every day. Unless it's downpouring, we don't do it then. But it's outside playtime, getting fresh air, getting some fun with them. Dinner, we usually eat early. We're usually done with dinner by 5:30, 5:45. That's the last thing I eat for the day right there. And then it's starting to wind down. We do some stuff with the kids, hang out. Kendall's got karate, things like that we do. They got religious education, those type of things during the week. But by 8 o'clock, the kids are going to bed. Casey and I will usually watch one show together. And that's it for me. I'm in bed usually, brushing teeth and getting in bed by 9 o'clock. That's the end of the day for me because 4:45 is coming early. I get my pages read somewhere throughout the day. I don't necessarily have that blocked every single day at the same time, but for the most part, everything else hits the same time. I know I need to have at least 3 bottles of water before I leave for work in the morning. 3 16-ounce bottles of water. That's typically how I do them in 16-ounce chunks. Then I know I need to have at least 4 while I'm at work. And then I do another one when I'm home, usually with dinner, and that's it. And I try to stop drinking water beyond that because I don't want to be up all night and limited sleep. And so, yeah, it's been good. The routine has made all the difference. It has made my mind stronger, my body significantly stronger. Your metabolism responds better when you're not eating super late at night and your body has time to actually burn those calories, burn those fat cells overnight while you're sleeping. And also, if you extend that fast into the next day, if you can get at least 12 hours without eating, that's why when I try and stop eating no later than 6, I don't want to eat until usually at least 7 the next day, 7:30. That's when I'll have my shake, and that gives my body a good amount of time to burn those calories there. And that has made a big difference too. So late night snacking coming out of the routine and making sure that it's clean the whole way through has been huge.
Yeah, that's good. Like this, and also I didn't mention 75 hard as part of my routine. Yeah, that's like those workouts. Obviously, that's all based on 75 hard. The morning routine is 75 hard or not. That doesn't change. That second workout is the 75 hard workout. I always worked out twice a day without 75 hard. Anyway, sometimes it's 3 times a day. But I wanted to mention. Have you noticed on your 75 hard app? Mine was like a couple days ago that it changed. Instead of saying workout 1 and workout 2, it now says
just changed.
It just changed. It says 45-minute workout and then 45-minute outdoor workout. Did you notice that?
Yeah, just changed a couple days ago.
Yeah, yep. I thought that was odd that it did that without me I didn't even update it and it did that. I have another question for you in terms of 75 hard, because being 46 days into it when we're recording and then 50 days when this comes out, how many books have you read so far and what are those books? Do you know?
Yeah, the first one I read was called Eat Smarter. And that one was hard. That was like 350 pages. It was kind of science driven. So that one took me a while to get through. But it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And it taught me a lot just about the foods that I'm consuming, the types of foods that I want to eat, the way that they interact with my body, and when to mix in certain types of things. So that book, phenomenal. I also read the book on mental toughness, Andy's new book. That was tremendous as well. It gave some insight into him as a business owner, as a person, about his life and how he's come up. And then the back half of the book was all about 75 Hard and the entire Live Hard program, like really in the weeds of why the tasks are the tasks, why he wrote them the way that he did, and why that they're in there. It's not just to drink a gallon of water because I just need to drink a gallon of water. Like the specifics behind why he chose those things. That book was great too. I'm currently in the middle of a book, well, close to the end. It's a good book, but I probably would never read it again. It's called Amusing Ourselves to Death, and it has a great. It drives to a great point, which is technology, TV. This was written back in '85, and I think that's my biggest problem with it, is that it's written in a time where things were written different. It's hard. It's a hard book to get through, And if I wasn't on 75 hard, I'm not going to lie, I probably would have put it back down and left it for another day. But part of 75 hard is when you pick up a book, you have to go from start to finish with it. You can't stop midway and go on to something else. So I am pushing through that one right now. So those are the 3 books I've had. I'm probably going to get at least one more full book in, possibly 2, depending on the one I choose.
Yeah, so I'm on my 4th book right now. This one's going to take a while because the Hunt and Gather Parent, I don't know how much you can see, but the font is very small. So the first book I read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That was a great book, good business book. Then I read The Legend. The next 2 books I read were from you, The Legend of the Monk and the Merchant. Very good read, quick read. And then I also read The Go-Giver. I just finished that one last week. That was book number 3. Also a great book, quick read. And then the one that I'm on currently, Hunt, Gather, and Parent, is a long book, almost 350 pages, small font. That is my 4th book so far. And then by the time I'm done with this one, that's going to probably be another, depending on how many pages I read, another 10 days or so. Then I should be able to finish up with Andy's book, because was pre-ordered for my birthday. It didn't ship, but I did get the notification, that it did ship. So hopefully I'll have that here in the next couple of days. And then when I'm done with Hunt, Gather, Parent, then I'll finish off 75 hard. I think it'd be a good way to end 75 hard, because the first time I did 75 hard, I read the 75 hard book that you sent me. And then if I finish it with the Book of Mental Toughness this time around, it'd be pretty cool. So I'm on book number 4. It should be a 5-book 75 hard for me by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it was fun reading Andy's new book during 75 hard this time. So I hope you're able to read that as your last one, as you kind of close the page on the 75 hard, because it was just extra fuel, extra motivation, like going through it and reading it while doing the program. It was great.
And then I just pre-ordered another book, which I'll read after Andy's book. Tulsi Gabbard's got a good book that she just finished last week. She mentioned that she finished writing it. It's been sent to the presses, so it was available for pre-order. So Andy and I did that, and it's called Tulsi Gabbard, For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. So I'm super excited to read that when that one comes in too. That'll probably be a late spring book by the time the pre-order and then they get shipped and all that other stuff. But I'm a fan of Tulsi, and that's the thing. That's why I tell people all the time, think outside the box. Don't just be a Republican or be a Democrat. Think for yourself. Because there's a lot of things about Tulsi Gabbard that I disagree with. She's been a big proponent of gun control. And I'm pro gun control, but I'm not pro banning assault rifles. So there's some things logistically that I don't see eye to eye with a couple of things. She was a Democrat. She left the Democrat Party for, obviously, because just look at the fucking world that we're in right now currently, because of the Democrat Party. But there's things that I don't see eye to eye on with her. You know what I mean? But there's also things that I like about her. And if your first initial jumping off point is, hey, I love this fucking country, let's not lose it, then I want to listen. You know what I mean? Like I said, doesn't mean I have to agree with everything else that comes out of her mouth afterwards. But I'm very excited to read the book, because I want to get her perspective of, this is a woman who was a Democrat congresswoman from Hawaii. You can't get much more blue than that. You know what I mean? She left the Democrat Party, so they must be doing something fucking stupid. In the sense that, why she left and whatnot. But I'm excited to read that book, because I think, like I said, the book that I'm reading now is from someone I would never read a book over. But it's just better to it's better to read things and listen and make your own assumptions. Think for yourself is so important to do, because nobody does it anymore. Everyone, it's all groupthink. Everything is about groupthink. And I did see one funny meme that I wanted to say on the show today, because I think it's hilarious. I don't care if whoever you voted for, and that's the problem with the Democrat Party. Instantly, everyone says the word Trump because you say something bad about the Democrat Party. But I read a meme, and I brought it up on my phone. It says, if you're feeling down today, remember this. There are still people out there that think voting for Joe Biden saved the country. Oh my God. It's phenomenal. So if you're having a bad day, just remember that there's people that think he made the world a better place.
Fantastic.
Anyways,
well,
wrap it up.
episode 100 is in the books. Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us, folks. It's been a fun 100 episodes. We're going to keep them going. Continue to live the full force life. If you're enjoying the show, please continue to share this message. Give it 5 stars. Give it reviews. Those are all things that can help push it up and get it out to more people that need to hear it. So we'll see you next week.